Danny Monteverde is in Biloxi with a look at the hurricane hunters and their invaluable work, especially when a monster storm like Dorian is churning in the waters out there.
We are the only operational unit in the world that does this, and it's all right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
They are the world-famous hurricane hunters, flying directly into the path of any tropical weather that could threaten you.
Ships avoid it, everybody avoids it, everybody's evacuating. Here we are in this 150,000-pound aircraft.
There are only 10 WC-130Js in the world that can do this job, and they're all here at Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi. The Air Force reservists who make up the hurricane hunters have worked non-stop recently, thanks to Hurricane Dorian.
We've been flying around the clock since last Monday.
Lieutenant Colonel Sean Cross is from New Orleans, but calls the Mississippi Gulf Coast home these days. You might say his second home is the eye of the storm, often a breathtaking sight with more than 150 flights to his credit.
The eye wall is so dangerous and so rough on that penetration, and then all of a sudden within seconds it changes to just total calm. It is a little nerve-wracking at times. You know, the older I get now, as I'm approaching retirement, I start to ask myself why I'm still doing this.
But that's more of a rhetorical question. He knows the work he and his counterparts do can literally save lives.
There are 1,500 support personnel here at Keesler Air Force Base who work with the hurricane hunters. There are 100 crew members who fly just 10 airplanes, and during those missions, they drop up to 24 of these little tubes. They're called dropsondes, and they get you the information you need about any storm that could be threatening you.
They plug that information into the models to make that forecast model 25% more accurate due to the information that we've collected inside the storm.
After seeing the awesome power of nature from his unique vantage point, one thought is cemented in Cross's mind.
I've been doing this a long time. I've ridden out storms on the ground, and I've flown through a lot. I will fly through a hurricane any day before I ride one out on the ground, if that puts it into perspective for you.
Reporting in Biloxi, Danny Monteverde, Eyewitness News.
Sure does. The hurricane hunters work beyond the hurricane season. Crews will do missions involving things like tracking snowstorms on the East Coast and severe weather on the West Coast.